Hi! Welcome to the next moon video. Today we're going to talk about Scorpio moons. I was supposed to make a water moon video, which I am going to do with Cancer and Pisces, but Scorpio moon is going to get a lot of extra time from me because it's a very special placement, and it's hard to not go into, it's a waste to not go into depth about it if you talk about it. And I know a lot of people have been waiting for this because I know a lot of Scorpio moons and y'all been asking me, so we're gonna get into it. So first off, the moon sign is one of the biggest and most important placements in your astrology chart. We usually talk about the big three. Now, I'm not gonna say that they are all that matters because the whole chart is really, really important, so don't take it like that. But the sun, the moon, and the rising are really big parts of your personality. It is of who you are, your soul, your emotional nature, and the view you have on the world and the view the world has on you and how you function in the world. So the sun represents your soul, represents who you are, and it always shines through in one way or another, whatever you're doing in life. But your moon sign represents your emotional nature. You cannot always see the moon sign in people because that's an inner part of the person, and it takes time for you to get to that part of a person, especially a Scorpio moon. They do not open up easily for people. It's really hard for them to open up. And usually, there's this thing in the astrology world where we're like, a lot of astrologers say that when you start a relationship with the Scorpio moon as a close relationship, because otherwise you will never get to see the Scorpio moon with the actual Scorpio moon, the depth of the Scorpio moon. But if you start a very personal relationship with that person, it's gonna be like, whoa, you're not gonna be prepared of it because the Scorpio moon is very good at hiding itself and its depth, but it's extreme. You know, all of the Scorpio key traits like passion, depth, intensity, sensitivity, empathy, jealousy, obsession, revengefulness, all of these things that in the energy of the Scorpio already is really, really, really strong. In the moon sign, it is multiplied by like 10 or 100. It is so intense, and that's why we say that this moon sign is a moon sign in detriment, because it's not a placement where the moon would like to be. The moon and the Scorpio energy does not go hand in hand. That's why to have a Scorpio moon is a tough situation, but it is very strong. It is very powerful, and if you learn how to manage the emotions, and if you learn the key traits of your Scorpio moon, you are gonna learn how to live a very intense. Your life is never gonna stop being intense. You can't get away from that. Your life is never gonna stop being emotional or with a lot of turmoil or with a lot of depth, darkness, light. You know, passing through the rebirth process over and over again with the Phoenix. Not too many times though. We're gonna get into that later. But yeah. You can go from having a life where you're just, where it's hard for you, honestly, to a life where it might still be difficult in some situations, but you're able to truly feel all your emotions, and you're gonna live such an intense and beautiful life. Like having a Scorpio moon, learning how to manage, being a Scorpio in general, actually, learning how to manage that energy, and coming out on the other side, away from the darkness. The darkness is always going to be your friend. Do not fear the dark, which is Scorpio moon do not, in general, do. Nobody with Scorpio energy fears the dark. But do not do that, and you will be able to step into the light and live a very beautiful life. Still very intense, still very deep, still very emotional, but it's going to be beautiful if you just allow yourself to truly be in your nature and truly feel it. So yeah, if you have not noticed, Scorpio moon is a favorite position of mine. It is in detriment, and a lot of astrologers, you know, they are not a fan of it. A lot of people in general are not a fan of it. It is very tough energy. It can be very hard to deal with Scorpio moon people, especially if they're not very evolved. Somewhere around their 25s to their 30s is usually when they're starting to sort themselves out. But before they turn 30 in general, in the astrology world, we talk about that they are very volatile. They're not in a healthy emotional place yet. And they go through a lot of shit. But it's all part of their destiny and their plans. So the older they get, the more they're gonna be able to function in their energy, and the more beautiful and intense and spiritual and life-changing lives they are gonna live. One of the things that causes a lot of Scorpio moons to have issues is the fact that they have very emotional turmoil in the inside, and they never, either they don't allow themselves to, because one part of the Scorpio energy is that control need. Scorpio moons try to control themselves and their emotions to an extreme, which is very unhealthy. But there's a deep need for it. There's a deep drive for controlling and understanding your emotional patterns and finding ways to kind of put them away. It's a fun thing to look at a Scorpio moon as a Pandora's box. On the outside it looks like a normal box, but when you actually open up the box, craziness in there. That's a Scorpio moon. That's actually the best way to describe a Scorpio moon. You're a Pandora's box. But that's pretty dope, isn't it? You know? Imagine, like, look at all the power you have. Use it to your advantage. Use it to the best way that you can. But one of the things that you need to know and need to learn is that you do not have to be in the emotional turmoil spectrum at all times. It is okay, and there are ways for you to get up and get some air. You have to find ways to let your emotions out. You have to find ways to stop trying to control your emotions, because that stops your emotions and intensifies them. And you have to learn how to go with the waves of your emotions, and the waves of your transformative processes, because transformation is a huge part of your life. You will transform a lot, and you usually come into other people's lives when they need to transform as well. Therefore, relationships at times can be hard and very turmoil-filled for you, as everything else in your life. But especially relationships, because you come into other people's lives to ease their transformative process. This is similar to Scorpio rising energy, so I know how it is. It's a very interesting thing. You have to learn, because Scorpio moons have a hard time letting go. You have to learn that you come into people's lives for a reason, and when that reason is fulfilled, you will leave their lives, and it's okay. And you need to learn how to let go, because that's really hard. You need to learn how to let go. Everything has a timing. Everything has a purpose. You know? And as long as you have learned your depth, your nature, who you are, your soul purpose, leaving situations and people behind when it is time, it's going to be easier. So try to find a way to do that, but that's very personal. So now I'm not going to get into that and tell you how to do that, because that's up to you. And you have to find a deeper part of yourself that allows you to let go. And letting go is not easy. It is hard, but more the acceptance within yourself to let go, to not control. Even like, it's still going to be as hard, but you just have to find a way and a place within yourself where you are so aligned with yourself and your energy that you can accept things for being what they are, and for the universal forces of the universe to play in as they are meant to. And you come into other people's lives often to help them advance in their change in their life. They might be going through a phoenix process, or they might be going through a transformative process, and you usually come into people's lives to shine light on that, which at times can make a lot of people have a hard time with you, because your energy is so intense. Not a lot of people can handle it, unfortunately, and that's okay. Okay, that's okay. People don't have to, you don't have to hide your intensity. Be your intense self. It is beautiful. Learn the nature of it, but accept it. Embrace it. It is who you are. You can't be anything else than what you are. You can't feel anything else than what you feel. You can't be in the gray zone if you have such extreme feelings that a Scorpio moon has. It doesn't work, and it's okay. Don't try to lower that part of yourself or hide that part of yourself, because that's just going to make the Scorpio intensity and the Scorpio emotions to intensify, which you do not want. So stop hiding. Learn how to break the ice. Learn how to get up for air, and then come back into the darkness. You have a need. This is the thing. You absolutely have a need to be in the darkness. I'm not ever going to tell a Scorpio moon to get out of the darkness, because you're meant to be there. At times, it's like your your womb. It's like your room. It's like your home. You know, that's where you came from. That's where your transformative processes happens. You are meant to go into that depth of yourself in a dark place at times, and you have to move away from the world, and that's okay. You also have to be very open and honest about that, and have people around you that understand that you need space. A lot of space at times. And you need... It is a healthy process for a Scorpio Moon to be able to get into the depth and know when they need to go into the depth and the dark again, and also being able to communicate that to the people around them so that they can do it in a healthy way, and then when it's time that they can come up for air again. You know, that they can get out of that place and get up for air and get up in a beautiful but still intense emotional spectrum. In that deep and dark place that you have inside that you have to go back into at times, is usually where the rebirth process happens, where the death part of the process is, so that you can rebirth yourself into the phoenix and then rise from the depth and the dark place within yourself as the phoenix and out into the world and help transform the world. Your purpose is really to stop trying to control yourself, learn how to transform yourself, learn how to function within your energy, learn the nature of your energy and learn how to function within it. It's not about controlling it, it's not about fixing it, it's about learning how to function in it, and then be out in the world and help other people transform. That's what you're kind of meant to do as a Scorpio Moon. The same with Scorpio risings. So I like to take them together. They are very different because it's in different parts of a person's personality and life, but they have soul purpose wise, karma wise, they're very alike, which is interesting, which we're not going to get into here, which I am getting into here. And this process usually happens through deep relationships, sex, darkness, traumas, which is not always fun, but sometimes they do happen. The universe is a cause for everything, you know? There's a reason why things happen to you, so. Especially if you have Scorpio energy. It's a big part of it is to understand and accept that you have that energy, because it is hard, but it is very beautiful. You're a great person. The thing about Scorpio energy is that it's always talked about as a sexual energy, and it's very sexual. I'm not going to say anything else. But Scorpio moons, they have high sexual stamina. Absolutely. Sexual connection in relationships is extremely important. Sex is extremely important. But these moons can easily become celibate. It's not a problem because sex is so holy in the sense of how it affects you on a deep level. You know how much it affects you, how much it transforms you, how much it is a big part of you. Because without the intensity, the passion, the depth, they can't act. You guys can't act upon your sexual desires because you have to have all of those components. So when you're dealing with a Scorpio moon, it can be like very sexual energy all the time with them, you know, in the relationship. Because I've dated a few. I know, I have a lot of friends as well. I kind of know. I love it. But it doesn't mean that sex is constant, you know. It doesn't happen all the time. It has to be the right passion, it has to be the right depth and the right situations in a lot of ways, because it is a transformative process for the Scorpio moon. But when you get in bed with them, with you guys, it's good. And it also doesn't just transform the Scorpio moon person, but it transforms the person that has sex with them. Having sex with somebody with Scorpio energy, just because it is both connected to Mars and Pluto, two sex planets, and also one of the planets is about death and transformation, it makes the sex process very transformative. You're gonna feel a change afterwards. It can be quite addictive as well. And really, you know, it's not the easy... You can definitely have one-night stands with them. That's not what I'm saying, but it is just intense. There's something about it, you know? It's intense. And that's because it's part of their transformative abilities and their transformative process, and it's a super important part of life. And their emotional needs for Scorpio Moon is to have deep connection, passionate connection, intense connection, and a very sexual connection as the endpoint of all of those things. If you have those three things with your partner or the person that you're gonna have sex with, the sex is gonna be fulfilling in the way that you need it to be. And it's a really big part of your emotional need that you have fulfilling sex in a transformative way. Scorpio moons also have a tendency to test people. They test themselves all the time, and they also test the people that they like, that they care for. They need to constantly know that that intensity, that passion, that depth isn't disappearing in a relationship with somebody, so that they're gonna keep on testing you over and over and over again in a lot of subtle ways, dependable on different sun placements as well, and different rising signs, but they're gonna test you. They are. So be prepared for that. They're gonna be complicated to deal with. You guys are complicated to deal with. I'm talking to both the Scorpio moons and the people that are dealing with Scorpio moons, because I think that both of you are checking the video. They are hard to deal with, but when you start to understand how to deal with them, and they start to understand how to deal with themselves, and how to be expressful of their needs, and learn to accept their emotional nature, and to go through the transformative process, it's going to be a very rewarding relationship for everybody involved. But unless you do depth, unless you do intensity, and unless you do passion, unless you do the good, the bad, the nasty as fuck, the ugly as fuck, the black, the white, like no gray zone, unless you do all those things, unless you are extreme and intense, do not deal with a Scorpio moon. No. Because they need that. They need that. They need that. And the Scorpio moon kind of rules the chemicals within your body and the chemical system within your body. So it's very common, very common for people with Scorpio moons to have really bad PMS, like women with Scorpio moons have really bad PMS. And there's an astrologer that always jokes about this that I like a lot. That Scorpio moon men also have PMS because your emotional patterns, like once a month at least, goes into those really extreme, crazy fucking ways, and yeah, it's only explainable by how we know PMS to be. But yeah, it's very common that they have issues with PMS, with cramps. Acne is very common both amongst women and men with Scorpio moons, because of the hormonal, it becomes issues with the chemicals and the hormonal patterns, especially when you are in a low point of your Scorpio cycle. Because it is a cycle, it's a Phoenix process cycle. It's kind of like a menstruation, sorry, but it is. You can have issues with digestion. That's really common, actually. Issues with digestion, with acne, with hormones, with anything that kind of plugs up yourself, like your chemicals in your body. Just your body isn't functioning to its best proper capability in a chemical wise way, in a hormonal wise way, in a stomach functioning kind of way, or a skin functioning kind of way, just how your skin works and how whatever like that. So that's a thing that's interesting that you can see in astrology also, that usually causes a lot of issues for people with Scorpio moons. I'm gonna give you guys a few examples of Scorpio moons as well, because it is a very special placement. It's a very strong placement, and a lot of artists that are very big. They're very big in their charisma, very big in their characters, have a Scorpio moon. So a few examples are, let's see here, I got some notes because I wrote up a lot. Beyonce is the best example ever of a Scorpio moon that has made a huge transformative process, and that has, and has gone from the ego to the soul, in its transformative process, and really is fighting for a cause. When if you followed if you're a Beyonce fan, if you followed her journey and you know where she started and where she's at right now, what she has done for the world, what she has done for different communities, what kind of music she does today, and what kind of music she did, what happened in her marriage, how much work she puts in, and anything, then and you understand what kind of a shift she has made and how important it is. And that's that Scorpio energy that has really pushed that shift. Because you can see the difference. Oh, she's such a beautiful example of it. But it's hard for me to explain it because it's going to be too long. We're not going to get into Beyonce here. But other Scorpio moons are The Weeknd. Yes. He got some issues, but we love him, don't we? Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. Love. Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, Mila Kunis, Bob Marley, James Dean, Will Smith, Mariah Carey, Scarlett Johansson, Avril Lavigne, Orlando Bloom. Yeah, the list is long. I'm not going to get into all of them. But they are all such impactful people. They all got issues, which is notable. But they are all great and very intense and very, ooh, they were special. There was a few examples of Scorpio moons and how they can be and how they can be viewed in the world, and also the differences that Scorpio moons have. You can either be very eccentric as a Scorpio moon or very closed off as a Scorpio moon. Totally depends on your other placements, and like there's no in between. You're either like super eccentric, has such a huge personality, super intense in all kind of ways, even though you might feel shit about the intensity, you know, or you're trying to control your emotions so deeply that you can't express them at all, so that you're like super mellow, super low, which is a weird thing to then be like, wait, were you a Scorpio moon? If you see a person like that, but it's one or the other, and it is just really a good proof of the black or white Scorpio thing. It's like you can't be in the gray zone. There is no fucking gray zone. You're either all or you're all out. Either way, or you're all down, not all out. There's always intensity of the emotion. And then the signs that you fit really well with, emotional wise, water moons. Water moons works the best with you. Fire moons, not Sagittarius, definitely not Sagittarius. Aries moons, Leo moons could work if you're able to work it out, because you both got huge egos. Very prideful. Huge egos. Scorpio moons try to hide their egos, but y'all got big egos. Oh my goodness. I'd say fire moons work well, except for Sag. Let's ignore Sag. Let's push Sag out the door. We don't like you guys. Sorry. Like moon-wise, we love you otherwise, but if you're a Sag moon, you need to stop with some things. But yeah, so Aries moons and Leo moons with squares or influences from Neptune and Pluto could really work well with you, because then they have more of an intensity in their emotional nature. It could also be a person that has like a moon stellium or a Neptune stellium that have that really, because then the emotions are already passionate, very deeply felt, very intense. Because of the fire moon sign, but it also goes to a more sensitive level and not just an explosive, a passionate level, an empathic level because of the water influences on the moon, and then that would work really well for Scorpio moon, because you guys would kind of understand each other in a good way. So, yep. And this was the video, so I hope you guys liked it. If there are any questions or anything, write in the comment section or ask me if you have me on any social media platforms. I'm gonna link my Instagram here, because you can add me there and write to me there, even if we don't know each other. But otherwise, if you know me, you can write to me wherever, and I will try to answer any questions about the Scorpio moon placements, because it is always going to be a hard placement to talk about, hard placement to understand, and it really is about, I think what a Scorpio moon mostly can do, if you're still confused about the energy, is to really study the Scorpio energy. No matter placement, the Scorpio energy, the Scorpio life, the Scorpio karma, the Scorpio soul purpose, and you're gonna get further along the way to understanding yourself and functioning well in this world and being the amazing self that you are and that you're meant to be. So I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. I'm like one of those super lame YouTubers that is like, oh my god, Jeffree Star, what does he do? Hi, I can't remember. Anyways, we're not. I'm so weird at times. Till the next time, next video is going to be Cancer and Pisces moon. I hope you guys like this one. It is a very special placement for me, so therefore I tried to make it justice, but it is hard to make it justice, but at least you guys got a complete video for yourselves. So, bye, bye, bye.